You are welcome to the third facilitation class of GST807, a study guide for distance learners. We saw last week what is meant by being an open and distance learner. We look at the features that actually characterize you as open and distance learner. Also, we saw who are your facilitators. Why are they called facilitators? We also saw some of the interactions that exist between the facilitators and the open and distance learners. And we did mention that in a facilitation class of this nature, in ODL, we don't have a lecturer. You only have a facilitator who guides you in your discussion in the class. And this particular facilitator makes the class to be learner-centered. Not just me coming to the class to come and pour the knowledge on you, but for you to share among yourself. And I, as the facilitator, will be there to moderate our discussions and to guide the direction into where our discussion should go. And where there are areas of controversies, then I will be able to guide you and also shed light to those points of controversies in your study discussions. So we're here today to look at Module 2, Units 1, 2, and 3. That is our focus for today. And what does this particular module and the unit of consideration really entail? We are looking at Unit 1 on listening, Unit 2 on speaking, and Unit 3 on reading. So these are the three elements of study skills that we are actually looking at today. So told you to study Unit 1, Unit 2, and Unit 3. So that is our focus for today. So we are looking at the first aspect of the study skill, listening. Listening. So if you have anything to contribute as to what listening means, as to the elements that you are supposed to have as an effective listener, what are the advantages of what are the listening types that we are having as open and distance learners? So these are some of the things that we want to look at today. And I really want us to share among ourselves together without me really, pouring knowledge on you. So that is our focus for the next 15 minutes. We are going to be looking at listening. After that, we go to speaking. After that, we go to reading. So from what you have studied,
you have volume.
On listening, do you have any question on listening or what study skill? You can raise your hand, you can raise your electronic hand, make your contribution. Please, if you don't want to talk, please put down your electronic hand. It's not going to be good by raising your hand and I'm calling you and you are not talking. Put down your electronic hands, please, if you are not ready to contribute. Okay, I will call on Faith. When you are talking about listening, what does it mean? Faith, unmute yourself, please.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, go on, go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, sir. My contribution on listening is this. As a nurse student, since we are undergoing this open and distant learning, especially in a class like this, we're supposed to be very, very attentive. This listening is something that will guide us on how to pay attention to our facilitator, even to our classmates. Listening here differs from hearing. There's a difference between listening and hearing. People can be talking, you are just hearing, but listening is the ability to meditate on paying attentively to your facilitator, just like what is happening now. As you are teaching us, as a good student, and especially in a distance learning class, we're supposed to be very active to grab everything that you are going to say today. And while we are listening, jot down the main points that we act as a guardian and as an easy remembrance for us. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Mrs. Faith Ebotokai. Sorry if I don't pronounce it well, but you have made your point. And really, you have emphasized the centrality of listening as a distant learner. And you have did mention that we need to really listen to not only to the facilitators in the class, but also to ourselves. And you made mention that listening is different from hearing. So many people hear things every day, but it is not everything that you hear, you ponder on. You have second thought. It's not everything that you hear, you go back and reflect on. There are some things you hear because it's not having any impact on you, and because you are not actually having any value to your life in most of the things that you hear. But when you are hearing something that is valuable to you, then you have second thought. Then you begin to meditate on it. Then you begin to ruminate on it. Then you begin to see how you can apply that particular thing that you are listening to. So when you are listening, listening is not just hearing words, but your ability to be able to reflect and meditate, as Faith has said, on whatever thing that you hear. That is listening. Thank you very much. Yes. Ajal, okay, Sani Abdul Muhammad, Mr. Sani Abdul Malik. Yes.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Mr. Sani.
My contribution will be on the strategy for effective listening.
Okay.
So in order to be an effective listener, you have to at least focus on 5 important things. First of all, you have to stop talking and pay attention to what you're actually saying. When you stop talking That is where you.
We are not hearing you well, Mr. Malik.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. I said the most important thing is, I mean, in order to be an effective listener, you have to focus on actually 6 important things. The first and most important thing is that you have to stop talking and pay attention to what they are saying. When you stop talking, that is when your brain will be able to hear what they are saying. You won't have anything that will interrupt you or try to, stop you from understanding what they are saying. And secondly, you have to maintain eye contact with your speaker. That is, when the person is, when you are having, a face-to-face conversation, but if it is not actually a face-to-face conversation, you have to actually, focus on the image you're actually saying, just like what we are saying now. Then number 3 is that you have to also empathize with the speaker. That is, you have to show empathy whenever somebody is speaking to you for you to be an effective listener. And number 4, you have to remove all physical and mental distraction. That is, anything physically that will distract you from listening to what they are saying, or that will affect your mental.
We are not hearing you well. Please use your speaker or microphone, please.
Okay, sir. Number 4, I said you have to remove any physical thing that will actually disturb your listening or anything that will mentally distract you from listening to what they are saying.
Thank you, Mr. Abdul Malik, for that wonderful contribution.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. That's okay, so that we can give another person to contribute to listening. So I just want to emphasize some key points that you have made. You said when you are listening, you must ensure that there is no distractions around you. There are so many distractions that can come. Then you told us that we must have eye contact with the speaker, because if you are not very sensitive with eye contact with your speaker, there are some cues that the speakers are gesticulating that you may not assimilate. And those cues of your speaker can also give you some indications to what you are, how you are going to understand what that particular speaker is saying. You also made mention of, as a listener, you must be empathic in such a way that you make yourself in line with the emotions, with the gesticulations, and ensure that what the speaker is saying is doing some work. By the time you are empathic with him, you want to feel the effort, the pains is actually putting into speaking, so as for you to get the best from him. So you need all these features for you really to be able to be a good listener. So I just give Shakirat Bimbo.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any new thing to add?
Yes, and I wanted to just add that they will have different types. Please. Yes, we have different types or purposes of listening.
Please, I want you to use your mic so that we can hear you well, please.
Hello, sir.
Yes, better.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. I said we have the advantages of learning through the listening
video
skill.
Because we are making recording. Put on your video. When you are contributing, put on your video, please.
Okay, I've started my video. But I'm in Kaduna State. We're having network problem. I don't know if the video is up now, but I've started my video.
Thank you.
Can hear you.
Okay, so the advantages of learning through listening, it helps increase academic. Hello?
Continue, please. And no interruption from anybody, please.
Advantages of learning through listening, it improves communication skills. I learned it actually improves communication skills. It helps to increase our understanding of that particular thing we are learning at that time. It helps to retain and recall in our memory. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Shakirat had actually told us about some of the efficacies and importance of listening. You know, it improves our communication skill. It actually gives us greater understanding of all the concepts and the issues of discussion in the class. And also, it will help you to retain some of those things that are very pertinent to the content that you are really going through. So all these points are very germane to reading. So, and we have different types of listening. We have some listeners are active and attentive in the class. We have active and attentive listener. We also have critical and analytic listener. We have empathic and therapeutic listener. And we have appreciative listener. You know, there are some people that listening with view to criticize. And such a listener is only looking for the mistake of the speaker, where is actually going to bombard the speaker with a lot of critics, with a lot of questions, with a lot of things to point out against that particular speaker. Some listening so as for them to be able to analyze the issues that are at hand, while some are actually appreciative listener. That, you know, when you are talking and you see your audience actually nodding their head, then that will give you motivation to keep on talking. Meaning that your audience are actually listening to you. Meaning that your audience are actually going on along with you. Meaning that your audience are really getting what you are passing across to them. So it will help that particular speaker to continue speaking and therefore to give you the best. And therefore, but when you are listening, as some of us have said, there are some barriers. You know, we have physiological barrier, we have physical barrier, we have psychological barriers, we have linguistic barrier, we have perpetual barrier. So physical barriers are your environment, your physical environment. If you have some physical distractions where you are actually listening, if it is not conducive, it's likely that you are not going to listen well. So you need to make your physical environment ready for your attentive and active listening. You also have the physiological barrier. Maybe you have some things in your, some people are having impaired hearing. They don't hear well. If you are not hearing well, you are not going to get what your speaker is trying to pass across to you. So some have some body challenge, physical challenges, and because of that, they may not be able to listen the way they should. Some are having psychological challenge. Students come to the class with various psychological issues. Some of them may not be actually physical, but it is affecting their emotions. It is affecting their interest. It is affecting their the kind of gestures they are supposed to dissipate in the class. And because of this psychological problem, maybe because of, you see some, though they are not weeping physically and you don't see the shedding of tears, but within them, they are only in the class just because I want to mark attendance. They are not happy. Within, no bad news they just had before the class, maybe because of some disturbances they have, or misunderstanding they have with their spouses, with their children, with their bosses in the place. work, and therefore they carry over this psychological influence into the class. That we listening, I want you to go and read all this. Read about strategies for effective listening, study types and purposes of listening, take all the advantage of learning through listening. Also look at barriers for effective listening. Then look at the essential components of your listening. Then steps to becoming an effective listener. All these are actually embedded in your course material. The question I'm asking you is, are you actually listening? Do you listen to people when they are giving you information? Or you are only there to decide? Are you really listening for you to get also or to give them more problem and cause distraction in the class? So that will move us to the second point of our discussion, and that is speaking. Speaking. So who is going to take us on speaking, please? Mr. Olushola, can you unmute yourself and give us some information on speaking? Mr. Olushola Agun, can you unmute yourself and give us some things on speaking?
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. Hope you can all hear me, sir, and mass. Hope all of you can hear me, sir, and mass. Okay. Speaking is a simple process of communicating.
Abdul Malik as a person. Abbas James.
So can you hear me?
Are you hearing me now?
Yes.
Yes, sir, we can hear you, sir.
Yes, we can hear you now. I can hear you.
Okay, sorry, I didn't know that my... So who is going to take us on speaking, please? Reverend Ode. Reverend. Okay, for Daniel, can you speak? For Daniel. I'm not sure you really hearing me.
We are hearing you. We are hearing you just that
Nobody is answering me. I'm calling people and they are not coming on.
So we are hearing you. The background noise is too much. You can mute everybody.
Sorry,
Okay,
my network
Mr. Umar Yakub.
I'm talking.
Mr. Umar
Daniel is talking.
Please, if you know that you don't want to talk, put down your hands, please. If you know that you don't have anything to contribute, put down your electronic hand. Please.
Hello, sir.
You're confusing us because I'm calling you and you raise your hand and you are not talking. You are confusing us, please.
Are you hearing me?
Who is that?
Favor is talking, sir.
Okay, Favor, carry on. And
Okay,
it's good if
please.
you can see your video, but it's not possible, just carry on.
Okay, my network has been frustrating. Sorry. Talking about speaking. Speaking occurs when we engage in conversation with someone. It could be our friends, could be families, it could be in a settings like this. So, and speaking is one of the key study skills that effective listening and learning as well. So, like we said, in listening, speaking also have effective, how to be effective in it. One of it is we have to know our audience. Most of the time we speak without getting to know our audience. So we have to know our audience and also engage them. We have to be prepared for the speech. In so many occasions, we see people getting to talk when they were not prepared for it. So in speaking, we have to be prepared for our speech. All right, and the types of speaking can be seen as informative. This informative speaking is meant to be informed. We have to have information for the listener. Hello?
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Beulah, for such a wonderful contribution. She has emphasized the need for you as a speaker to prepare. Don't just say you want to speak for speaking's sake. It's not every speech that you utter that is actually organized. So if you don't prepare, what you are speaking will be disorganized. And because of that, you will not be able to reach out to your audience. So there's a need for full preparation and organization of the material that you want to present to your audience. So an effective speaker must be an organized person. And she also did mention that you must know your audience as a good speaker. If you are talking to teenagers, you should know the approach to use. If you are talking to an adult person, you should know the approach to use. If you are talking to a female audience, there are some things that you need to take note of. If you are only men that are your audience, that are actually listening to you, there are some key approaches that you need to use. If you have a mixed gender audience, then you should be able to know what are the right approach to be able to reach to the two components of your audience based on their gender. So you must know the level. You must also know the career orientations of your audience. You must know their diversities, tribal diversities, career diversities, professional diversities, language diversities, a lot of things, differences that exist among your audience. So all these things are very, very essential for you to take note of if you want to be an effective speaker. Thank you very much, Faith, for that. Okay. Adedeji Adeola, what do you have to say?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Yes, sir. Learning through speaking, it encourages dialogue. It makes the discussion a two-way thing.
Yeah.
So that the listeners will be able to contribute and the speaker will be able to know that he or she is actually making sense in the communication. Then there will be an instant feedback as to what is being taught. That's my contribution.
Thank you. I will take you up on this mentioning feedback. So many just talk to the air and therefore the wind just blow off whatever thing they are saying, because they are not expecting any feedback from their audience. So what will regulate you as an effective speaker is the kind of feedback that you are receiving from your audience. We were in a class in those days when we were in the physical brick and mortar classroom in my former university. We had a lecture for 1 hour. We have another one after that particular lecture. And therefore, our lecturer has spent the 1 hour and also continue to speak and to speak. And at the point, all the students were just crabbing their leg on the feet and distracting, and they are no more. So that is a feedback, meaning that, please, your time is up. You need to go to another class. So if you are not a good speaker, you find out that you will not look at what is. So the kind of feedback that you are going to get may be oral, no, maybe situational, maybe circumstantial. No, it can be any form. And therefore, you must take note of this particular feedback. And if you don't look for the feedback from your listener, you will not know whether actually the approach of presenting that particular material is really, effective or not. By the time you are receiving the feedback, you can change the approach of your presentation. You can change the kind of gadgets that you are using. You can change the mode of that particular presentation. So these are some of the things that you need to know. Also, I want to call on Mr. Lawan Kura Yamilu. Are you there?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon. How are you, sir? My contribution under this speaking.
Yeah.
The speaker, some of the challenges that speaker may encounter while speaking. Hello, sir.
Yes, we are hearing you.
There are some of the challenges that the speaker may encounter while speaking. One, inhibition or anxiety. There are inhibition or anxiety. This is the most common problems associated with the speaking. Yeah, anxiety, sir. Associated with the speaking in a classroom environment. There are second one. Some students might not be inhibited, but they simply do not have information on the subject matter. This will impede their speaking skill. That's the second challenges that a speaker may encounter while speaking. The last one is essential component of the speaking. Some of the aspect of the language that influence how will speak, people speak and are understood. This component discussed, it will be challenge for any speaker that's speaking while speaking, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kura, for such. So before I comment on your contribution, let me take on Mr. Tahi Mustafa. I think you have something to say. Mr. Mustafa, can you unmute yourself?
Leaving all my contribution is my sisters. In speaking, eloquence and usage appropriate vocabulary are key in conveying.
Please, people should control their background. It's being noisy.
Okay, Mr. Tai, can you unmute yourself again now? Unmute yourself again, please. Mr. Tai, yes.
In speaking, eloquence and usage of apt vocabularies are key in conveyance of the intended message in its best form. Also, a mode of pronunciation and speed of speech are also key in sending the message clearly. I think this is my contribution in addition to what my brothers and sisters have said. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tai, for that wonderful contribution.
Yes.
So, Mr. Sekura and Tai had made some salient points on speaking, while Kura is telling us about anxiety on the part of the speaker may not allow them to speak well when they are too anxious and therefore forgetting, and they are not having, they are not in their right mood. So that can actually impair their speaking. And also, he talked about language. Language is very important in speaking, and I will take on that with the vocabulary Mr. Tai was trying to say. There is this particular correlation between your language and your vocabulary. So at times, the language that you speak, if your audience are not really understanding the language of medium of presentation of your material, then you are not going to get good results from your speaking. Then if your vocabulary, because you just want to impress them that yes, you are a grammarian and you are using your ontology, ecology, or everything, logy, and everything is just so big that those people have to go to dictionary before they begin to understand you. And they don't have such a dictionary around them while listening. So you find out that it may actually pose some problems. So you watch your audience and know the kind of vocabulary that they will understand. You speak using, what is in their environment, what they will understand in their environment. Your illustrations, your examples must be things that they understand in their environment. So it's just like when you are talking about whiteness, and you are saying that, oh, something is white as snow. And somebody in Kano, a child in Kano has never seen a snow before. So you are not speaking to him. So, but a person in Kano that have been to his or her father's farm and where they are actually planting wood. And when this particular wood matured, it comes out and they harvest. What is the color of the wood? Wood is white. When you now say, oh, what I'm holding is white as wood, then that person really understand you because it is what he or she is interacting with on a daily basis. And also, Mr. Tai made mention of this issue of pronunciation. Our dialects, our local languages often affect our pronunciation. So, as a good speaker, you must ensure that you don't allow your local dialects to really actually affect your pronunciation so as to alter the meaning of the words that you are really passing across to your listener. So all these are very important. So on listening, you need still to go and get more information on how to be an effective speaker. What are the types and purposes of speaking? And also, what are the challenges? We have mentioned some of them that you may encounter while you are speaking. Then what are the essential components of speaking? So all these things are very important for you to know and go back to your particular area on speaking. So because of our time, lastly, we are going to the last one, that is reading. Reading. So he is going to take us on reading. Okay, Miriam. Oh, Miriam, are you ready for us? If Miriam is not ready, Uche Ugochukwu, something, you have to tell us something on reading, and what are those things that we should know on reading? Uche Ugochukwu, mute yourself. You are raising your hand. Okay.
Can you hear me?
What about?
Can you hear
yes,
me?
Uche, continue, please.
Can you hear me?
Good afternoon.
Okay. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Please
Can you hear
continue.
me?
Who is speaking, please?
Can you hear me?
Who is that? Who is that one playing there?
Who is doing that now? Let's behave ourselves.
Unmute yourself now.
Okay. If Uche is not coming on, Mr. Lassa. Bilingual Lassa, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Please speak to the mic and let us hear you, please.
Jenny, no, I'm doing lectures now.
Can you hear me?
Please speak to the speaker. Let us hear you.
Okay, I'm speaking. Can you hear me now, sir?
Yes, I'm hearing you, please.
So we can describe reading to be
okay, Lassa, wait, please. Lassa, wait, please. Okay, Lassa, can you unmute yourself now and speak?
Reading can simply be described as the ability to understand words
Can you
that are
hear
being
me, sir,
documented.
now? Can you hear me now?
No, Lassa is speaking, please
Hello,
wait.
can you hear me?
Uche, we are not hearing you, please wait.
Can you hear me? Can you hear Uche?
Hello, sir. Reading can be described as the ability to understand words that have been...
Are you ready to speak?
Yes, I am ready. I'm speaking. I said reading can be...
I'm not hearing you. Please speak.
Can you hear me now, sir?
Sorry.
Can you hear me now, sir?
Lassa, we can hear you. Lassa,
Okay.
we can hear you.
Adiola,
okay.
What do you have to say?
Reading can simply be described as reading something that is being reading something that is being documented for our understanding, so that we use it for personal growth. It can easily be described as something that you read and then you comprehend. But what you are reading must be in a documented form.
Please,
and then
we are not hearing you. Please.
Hello,
we are hearing her.
We can hear her very clearly, sir. We can hear her.
We can hear her very well.
We are hearing her, sir. Understand what document and make use of the knowledge for personal growth and development. That's what I understand by reading, sir.
Why is this not so misbehaving?
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Hello, sir.
You people are hearing me, but it's like our facilitator cannot hear us.
Are you hearing me too?
Yes, I'm hearing.
We can hear you, sir.
We can hear him very well, sir. We can hear her.
Can you hear me now, sir?
Yes. Please go ahead. We can hear you.
I think reading is the ability to understand words that are contained in a document and to be able to make use of the knowledge for our personal growth.
It's cutting, it's breaking.
So please, bilingual, just mute yourself, please. You are cracking. We are not hearing you. Bilingual, can you mute yourself? Just let me mute all so that I will call another person, please. Okay. Yakubu, are you ready for us now? Umar?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Abbas,
can you hear
James.
Uche?
Okay,
can you hear
Uche, carry on.
now? Okay. So we are looking at how to contribute.
Yes, Uche, carry on, please. Uche.
Okay. Do we have different purposes for reading?
Yeah.
One is reading for pleasure. That is when you just want to read, maybe have enough, so you just want to relax, you just read for relaxation, not necessarily because you want to get any serious information. Secondly, is reading for information. This is basically academics. Maybe when you want to read for your exams, or you hear about something you want to verify, to know, to understand more about, or you heard something on the news, you really want to get further information about it. That is one purpose for reading, which is reading for information. Can you hear me?
Okay,
hello.
Thank you very much. Hello, thank you very much.
Hey. Oh, okay, sir. You're welcome.
Okay, we have had two contributors on reading. Bilingual is trying to tell us about, you are reading a documentary material. And this material contains relevant information. So, and Uche is telling us that when you read for pleasure, you read to get information. So, as a distance learner, your approach to reading will actually depend on what you want to get out of the material that you are reading. When you are having effective study, you read the material, not just for you to have pleasure. You are reading the material, not just for you to get information.
Music. Who is playing music?
A particular material, so as for you to assimilate, to understand. So you have reading for understanding, so as for you to be able to
Can't hear it again. Can't hear. We are not hearing you, sir.
recall, you retain the information, and when it is necessary, so as for you to divulge that 90% of your work as a distance learner is actually reading. You need to read. You actually need to read, so as for you.
Please, some people should be.
You need to read. You can read. And when you are reading, 90% of your work as a distance learner rests on this.
Yes.
It's not every time you come to the class. It's not every time you relate with your mates, which you don't even see most of the time physically. It's not every time that you also see or actually come across certain information. But when you read, you get those information from the documented materials. So I want to emphasize that reading is a study skill. When you are reading, use correct strategies for your reading. Then you must also take the advantage of reading to get a lot of materials out of the thing. You can jot. You can take small notes from what you are reading. And you must know that reading has so many components. Your component depends on what the kind of information you are looking for when you are reading. And that is why somebody told us that, yeah, you can have component of reading for pleasure, component of reading for information, component of reading for effective understanding. Therefore, there are some things, bad habits in reading. And for you to know the type of habits you are going to cultivate in your reading, what kind of reading materials, you must know your course. What is your program? Some people will say, I am studying and reading mathematics, and they will lie down on their sofa in their sitting room, and they will carry the mathematics textbook and be reading it. Is that how to study and read mathematics? Mathematics is not a novel.
It's practical.
That's it. It's something you need to read, study, and do what? Practice. You sit up and practice. But when your way is in your languages, you are actually studying literature, you are studying history that has textual materials in nature, you can lie down and sleep on your bed and be reading. So whatever thing, the habits you are cultivating for your reading actually depends on the nature of the materials that you are actually reading. So I want to thank you very much. I will entertain only 2 questions, if there is any. 2 questions, if there is any. Yes, Mr. Abbas.
Okay.
Mr. Abbas, ask your question, please.
Good evening, sir.
Good
Hello,
evening.
Sir.
Hello.
Okay, sir. My question is about, thank you for the question. Please, I want to ask a question concerning TMA. I saw some things concerning the team.
We are not hearing you, Mr. Abbas. We are not hearing you.
Can you hear me now?
People are making noise at the background.
Can you hear me now, sir? Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, I say I'm asking a question.
Network.
Hello, sir.
Yes. Another question we are not hearing, Abbas.
Yes, my name is Umar Kani from Lagos Study Center.
Thank you.
We are told that we are supposed to start our TMA today. And unfortunately, when we open our portal for the GST807 TMA, it was not there.
Don't worry, it will be there. They are making process on that.
Okay, sir. Because
It's there already.
we are meant to believe that is.
Okay, somebody said it's there already.
It's there already. I saw it.
It's not there.
Often.
It's
there already. I've seen
done mine.
Hello, it
I've
has
done
been
mine.
removed. It has been removed. It has been removed.
807 has been removed.
It has been removed.
This afternoon.
It was there as of yesterday night. I have done mine.
I've opened it this afternoon.
For me, I also checked. I did not see.
It has been removed.
Okay, just keep on checking. It will be there, and it's not going to be on and off. It will be permanently put there. Maybe they spotted some things. That is why it is removed.
Okay, so regarding the issue of this noisy background,
Good afternoon, sir.
It's really affecting our learning.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Okay, my name is Regina, sir. I just want to suggest that during this lecture, is it possible to nominate a co-host that will be muting all participants, because the background noise is really too much. And today we are talking about listening, reading, and communicating. I mean, how do you really concentrate with all this background noise? It's just too much for a class.
Don't worry, when you have a large crowd,
get a
when you have a large crowd, hello.
Thank you, sir.
When you have a large crowd, the tendency is there like this.
Okay.
We are over almost 300 students in the class. I am still expecting, while I was expecting around 3,000 students in this class. So it is good that you have a co-host but I can never make any of you my co-host. Because the day you decide not to come to the class, I will have a problem. So I can only trust myself that.
Sir, you can select, sir, on that day of the class. You can choose anybody that will help you mute people. It's a very easy process.
Thank you. We will look at that, but for now I'm not accepting it. Thank you very much.
Yes, I suggest you do the muting of everybody and allow only the people that raise their hand in order to.
No, under that I kept on muting all.
I raised my hand.
People are stubborn, they kept on coming and going, So no, don't worry, let's accommodate ourselves. But anybody that violates, when we notice them,
I raised my hand. I was not called.
Please, sir, people should be civil. People should be civil. We are all adults. I wonder why people should be playing music and be making noise when lectures are being.
Leave that one. Please ask questions on our discussion, please. Ask questions on our discussion, please. Yes.
Hello, sir. I raised my hand.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir. Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Please, you should also do something about the network of the network is not helping matters at all.
It's okay. Thank you very much. Since I'm no more hearing you again.
Sir, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Hello, sir.
Can you hear Uche?
Yes, Uche, say your last word and let us close for the day.
Okay, sir, please. Sir, please, can you explain a little to us the meaning of this activity?
Yes, you are cracking. Thank you very much, everybody. Next week, we are going to do 4 and 5.
When next week,
4 and 4 and 3.
Hello, sir. I have a burning question. I don't know if you could allow me to ask the burning question.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Please go and read Module 2, Unit 4, Unit 5 against next week. And after that, we go to Module 3. So I want to thank you for your attentiveness and your contributions today. It has been a wonderful class, and I hope to meet next week. Thank you very much. Bye for now.
Thank you, sir.
God bless you.